Okay, in this quick tutorial for today's class, we're going to be looking at how to create uh, pre-comps, reusable pieces, in order to develop an infographic. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new composition. We're going to use the 1080p, 1920 by 1080, 2997. We're going to use 10 seconds. We're going to make sure you're using square pixels. So our duration should definitely be 10 seconds. That is 10 seconds and 0 frames. And click OK. So what we're going to do is we're going to create one piece and then show you how to reuse it. So I'm going to go with a shape layer. And my shape layer is going to include a rectangle. So I'm going to go to the Add button and choose rectangle. And I want this to actually be a non-square rectangle. So I'm going to open up the rectangle path in the shape layer, go with size, unlink the proportions, and I want to make this wider. I can't remember which one is wider and which one's taller, but let's go with this one being wider. So this is my shape, and if I zoom out, I can see that that's about the size that I want. What I'm going to be having is about 3 of these in a line containing information. So I'm going to add a color to this. So I'm going to go with fill. And I don't like that color at all. It's too bright. We want to make sure that the background color we're using does not dominate, because the important part is the text that we'll be adding. So I'm going to back down my fill saturation. I'm going to go ahead and go with a different color entirely, maybe green or blue. So because it's a background item, I want to sort of use a cooler color, or at least desaturate the heck out of it. So I got OK. So now I've got the shape on there. Now what I'm going to also add to this, I'm going to link the two, is I'm going to add some text to this. So if I go ahead and click the text and I click to this and I say let's put some content in here, I'm just going to write content, there we go. And that's actually a horrible color, isn't it? So let's go ahead and get the selection tool and move this over. And I've got my caps lock on, so I didn't want to refresh. So I'm going to change this to a color that's going to contrast very well. So one big piece about motion design is if your work doesn't contrast, it's not going to deliver. So I'm going to go and left justify this over here. In my character panel, I'm probably going to want to find my justification. So one of these links, paragraph, there we go, paragraph. And I'm going to left justify it, and then I can move it over to align the two pieces. Now, one thing we haven't really talked about in here is, just like Illustrator has a align panel, so does After Effects. So if I use the align panel to selection and align them this way, now they're perfectly centered. So there's my content, and I do want to link the two. So I'm going to go to my parent and link. If you don't see these same things in your timeline, click the toggle switches and modes button at the bottom of the timeline, and you'll get different choices. You're always going to see parent and link though, so you should be cool there. So I'm going to link this to my shape layer 1. So now no matter what I do with shape layer 1, if I move shape layer 1, the content piece is always going to move with it, as you see. So let's go ahead and put that back in the middle, and let's select both pieces. So we're going to both selected. You can right click here, or you can right click down here, and what you're not seeing on my screen, because it's too far down, is pre-compose. Oh, there it is, pre-compose. So you can pre-compose there, and you can get the same value here by pre-composing. Now what pre-composing does is it makes a new composition with the pieces that you can then copy and change the contents of to, since it's already assembled, you just have to change what's in it. So let me change this, the name of it, so it is going to be called template. There we go. That's a great idea. So now I've got a template piece. So this is my pre-comp template, and my comp over here is set to 10 seconds. My template piece is also set to 10 seconds. So what we're going to wind up doing is we're going to look at how to, inside my template, I want to actually animate this into place. So I'm going to have this take maybe a couple seconds to bounce into place. So if I go to 2 seconds, 200, and I'm going to go to my shape layer and push P for position. So I'm going to add a keyframe at the position, and you can figure out how long you want that to take, maybe half a second, maybe a whole second, I don't know. Let's just kind of randomly pick about a third of a second in there. So from here, I'm going to use my horizontal positioning to scroll it right. And you can actually just drag it if you want to. There's a few ways to move it around. So now I've got the piece that moves. If I push spacebar, it rolls into place just like that. Now it's just going to be static. So my template has movement, it has color, it has text, it has everything that I need. So going back into my comp, what I'll do is I'm going to get rid of the template actually, and if I go up to my project panel and push Control D or Command D, I've got now template 2. So if I open up template 2, I can even rename it right here. So if I right click and choose rename, it's at the bottom. I'm going to name this one to be web design. So I'm just thinking about an infographic about a business. So inside of web design, I'm going to change the text to say web design. And I have to spell it right. Design. So this program does not have spell check in it. And I could change the background color if I want to now. So if I choose my shape layer and get my selection tool, I will now have the ability to change my background color. So let's make this one green just for fun. Now we're going to make 2 more. So we'll go back to the template and Control D. And now we've got template 2 again. Let's rename this one, and we're going to have this one be renamed, and I'll call this one SEO, search engine optimization. So now I go to my text, the content, instead of saying content, I'm going to say SEO, search engine optimization, and then you're going to make a third one, and here's how they're going to fit together. If I go back to comp 1, which is where everything lives, I'm going to get rid of my template. Can I delete that? Yes, I can. And let me just bring this down. So I want to take my web design piece and drop that in there. I'm going to take my SEO piece and drop that in there. And you'll notice, I'm just going to use 2 of these twice, since you're going to make up your own 3 pieces. You'll notice that they're right on top of each other. So I can take each of these, and let me duplicate that one more time. And if I take all 3 of these, I can actually use my move this down just a little bit more. Take this one. I want to align these all to each other. So the SEO on top is that one, I think. So I want to get some rough positioning of things together. Then I can open up my align panel again, and I can align left so they're all smooth that way. And then I can use distribute layers to get them all nice this way. So now what I'll do next is I'm going to bring them into play one at a time. So this one is my top one, so I'll bring that in first. So nothing to do there. I'll bring this one in second. Oops, that's the wrong one. So I can bring that one in after 2 seconds or something. So if I actually go to 2 seconds, 200, and I can snap that into place there. And you can use the zoom in down here to see how close you are. There we go. Zoom back out. And the next one to remove is the bottom SEO, which is this one, or it's this one. There we go. So now I'm going to take that one and move it out of the way also, and I'll have it start at 4 seconds. So I'm going to zoom in on that, bring that into place, and that's the deal. 1, 2, 3. So it's an easy way to create infographics or put content on the screen or whatever you want to do. And what I want you guys to do next is export this. You can use File, you can use Export, and I recommend that you use Adobe Media Encoder to export this to a H.264. If you do the render queue, your choices are more limited. That's the tutorial. I'll see you guys in just a few minutes.